Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness my debut as a wedding officiant. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mike Casso. I'm the father of this wonderful groom and future father-in-law of this beautiful bride. For those of you who do know me, thanks for still coming. Welcome to my wedding. Now, I'm the officiant. I'm running the show here, so, really, this is Whitney and Brian's wedding. And Whitney and Brian have given me the distinct honor and pleasure of being their officiant. Not sure what that says about their judgment. We'll see. Tough crowd. It's the first time I've ever officiated a wedding, so I have a feeling I'm going to be excellent at this. It might be a promising profession, but I hope to at least be a one-hit wonder. I'm not a reverend, and I'm not a priest, and I'm not a rabbi, but I can tell you my experience as an altar boy at the now-defunct St. Albert's Catholic Church in Milwaukee, I could play one on TV. Right? So hey, we've got a great show here today. We've got some special guests. You know them as Brian and Whitney. I call them the Britneys. Okay? Also preparing today, we got the bridesmaids and the groomsmen. Yes, they are sober. You can think of them as our flight attendants, and I'm your pilot. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight here. We're going to go ahead and get started. Please take a seat. We are gathered here today to celebrate one of life's greatest moments, the joining of two hearts, and it's a love story. Today we'll witness the joining of Whitney and Brian in marriage. But today is also a celebration for the rest of us, for it's an opportunity to see love in bloom and to participate in the union of two people so delightfully suited to one another. Many of you have traveled long distances to be here. All of you, no matter how long your journey, have chosen to take time out of your lives to show your love and support for Whitney and Brian's declaration of a lifelong commitment to each other. Your love and support is not only meaningful today, but it's instrumental in Whitney and Brian's future, because no marriage thrives in isolation, but rather through the support of family, friends, and community. And later this evening, we'll have the opportunity to continue the celebration with great food and drink, fellowship with family and friends, and probably some really bad dancing. Now, Whitney and Brian, a brief moment in time and a stroke of the pen is all it takes to create the legal bonds of marriage. But it takes a lifetime of love and understanding and compromise to make marriage durable and everlasting. See, your marriage began well before the wedding day, and the efforts of marriage will continue well beyond the ceremony's end. Your yesterdays were a path to this moment, and your journey to a future of togetherness becomes a little clearer with each new day. You know, choice is at the heart of a thriving marriage, and you are declaring today and for all your tomorrows that you will choose each other over and again in the privacy of your heart. Choosing each other in good days and not so good days, in joy and in sorrow, after every test, and there will be tests, after every disagreement, and there will be disagreements. And even if the other person's driving you up the wall about something as huge as, should we buy this house, should we buy this car, or something as trivial as, what are we going to do this weekend, what are we going to eat tonight, do I look good in these jeans? Most of the time that choice will seem effortless, like remembering to breathe, but occasionally it might require a little more thought, but knowing that the other has pledged to make that choice every day regardless allows love to flow freely between the two of you, come what may. A thriving marriage must be constantly created and crafted, sometimes repaired, but always treasured. And in marriage, the little things are the big things. It's never being too old to hold hands, right? can hold hands if you like. He's got cooties, okay. So remembering to say I love you at least once a day. Brian, have you said I love you to Whitney today?
Yes. I love you now.
I love you most of the time.
There you go. It's not going to sleep angry, and if you have to, it's waking up with forgiveness in your heart. And it's standing together facing the world. It's lifting each other up even when the other isn't around. And it's giving each other an atmosphere in which each of you can grow individually as well as together. And it's a common search for the good and the beautiful. And it's not only about marrying the right person, it's about being the right partner. And it's not always about being right. And Brian, you know who's always right. Okay. So when you're wrong, admit it. And when you're right, just shut up. Okay. So it takes trust to know in your hearts that you only want the best for each other. And it takes dedication to stay open to one another, to learn and grow, and even when it might be difficult to do so. And it takes faith to go forward together without knowing what the future holds for both of you. Now, I have to say, if there's anyone here who thinks they might have just cause for these two perfectly matched people who are deeply in love and have already made the decision to wed, if you think they should not be wed, please keep it to yourself or you'll be escorted out to the vineyards. At this time, Whitney and Brian have written vows and as an expression of their commitment to each other, and they're going to recite these vows for the first time in public.
There's a lot of things you need to get across this universe. Warp drive, wormhole refractors. But you know the thing you need most of all? The hand to hold. As I stand here, I know I've found the things most valuable in life. I've found my companion, my best friend, and my hand to hold. As we start our life together, I promise that I will always walk by your side and share with you all that I have. I promise to encourage you to follow your dreams and inspire you to be a better person. To love you truly without hesitation, even when you kick me out of bed to feed the cats. I promise to laugh with you and not at you, that often anyway. I promise to be your strength when you're weak and to be your comfort in times of sorrow, like when the Packers are losing again. But more than anything, I vow to fill your life with happiness and adventure because our life together will be an awfully big adventure.
Right?
Well, we clearly know who the writer is, because now I feel like mine are very inadequate. Which was funny, because I was done before today. So I'm just going to go with mine, and we'll keep it at that. I promise to love you like you've never been loved before. I promise to feed the cats when you don't feel like it. I promise to be there in times of need and when you don't need me. I promise to always bring you flowers for no reason other than I love you. I promise to stay fit and healthy so that I can spend even more time with you. And I promise to support you in your endeavors, even if that means moving to Kentucky. I promise to love you no matter how many cats you bring into our house. Currently we have 8 children. Kittens, we call them. I promise to always tell you my opinion first, even though I'd like to hear yours. I promise to always give you 3/4 of the bed, because the 1/4 that I get's all I deserve. And lastly, I promise that you'll always be my favorite.
Very nice. Talk about the Kentucky thing there. All right, at this time, Whitney and Brian are going to perform a unity wine ceremony. I'm going to step back here. The wine sharing ceremony embraces traditions that began well before the medieval period. Whitney and Brian will pour wine from 2 carafes into a single glass. Probably could leave a little left. celebrating their pledge to each other as one blood, one family, and one kin. As you will see, Whitney and Brian have left some wine in each of their glass, and this symbolizes a celebration of their individuality as well as their union. As with a glass of wine, one of you finds it sweet and the other perhaps dry or somehow different. Let the drink you share today serve as a reminder that although you may perceive things very differently, being right is never more than being happy. And always putting your commitment to love and honor each other first, and your lives will then grow deeper, richer, and greatly satisfying like a rare and fine wine. In demonstration of their union, Whitney and Brian will now drink from the single glass. As you have shared wine from a single glass, so may you share contentment, peace, and fulfillment from the cup of life. Let this wine ceremony represent the spirit of your lives together. By sharing this wine now, you have shown your desire to blend your families even stronger. And may you always find life's joy heightened and its bitterness sweetened. Okay, so I contemplated here with telling a little story. It may seem a little different and unusual, but I think it's very meaningful and I think it's very sweet, and it really, to me, represents the whimsical side of Whitney. The story is called A Lovely Love Story by Edward Monken. The fierce dinosaur was trapped in his cage of ice, and although it was cold, he was happy in there. After all, it was his cage. Then came along the lovely other dinosaur. The lovely other dinosaur melted the dinosaur's cage with kind words and loving thoughts. I like this dinosaur, thought the lovely other dinosaur. Although he is fierce, he is also tender and he is funny, and he is also quite clever, though I will not tell him this for now. I like this lovely other dinosaur, thought the dinosaur. She is beautiful, she is different, and she smells so nice. She's also a free spirit, which is a quality I much admire in a dinosaur. But he can be so distant and peculiar at times, thought the lovely other dinosaur. He is also overly fond of things. Are all dinosaurs all overly fond of things? But her mind skips from here to there so quickly, thought the dinosaur. She is also uncommonly keen on shopping. Are all lovely other dinosaurs so uncommonly keen on shopping? I will forgive his peculiarity and his concern for things, thought the lovely other dinosaur, for they are part of what makes him a richly charactered individual. I will forgive her skipping mind and her fondness for shopping, thought the dinosaur, for she fills her life with beautiful thoughts, wonderful surprises, and besides, I'm not unkeen to shopping either, and we know Brian isn't unkeen to shopping. Now the dinosaur and the lovely other dinosaur are old. Look at them. Together they stand on a hill, telling each other stories, and feeling the warmth of the sun on their backs. And that, my friends, is how it is with love. Let us all be dinosaurs and lovely other dinosaurs together, for the sun is warm and the world is a beautiful place. I will now ask of you, each of you, Whitney and Brian, to publicly declare your commitment to one another. And as you make this declaration, you'll place a ring on each other's hand. The exchanging of the rings expresses the couple's promise of faithfulness to each other. It's an unending circle of the ring is a symbol of eternity, and the wedding ring is an outward expression of the inward bond, as two hearts unite as one, promising to love each other for all of eternity. Brian, please place the ring on Whitney's finger. Brian, do you take Whitney to be your lawful wedded wife?
I do.
Brian, do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and protect her, and be faithful to her for all the days of your life? Do you promise to feed the cats and pick up your clothes off the floor?
I do.
And do you promise to love Whitney even on those rare days where she might be cranky?
For a second.
Now, Whitney, please place your ring on Brian's finger. Whitney, do you take Brian to be your lawful wedded husband?
I do.
Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and protect him, and be faithful to him all the days of your life?
I do.
Do you promise to let him watch the Green Bay Packers even when he forgets to feed the cats and pick up his clothes off the floor?
Sometimes.
And do you promise to love him even on those rare days that the Packers lose, and he too is cranky?
I do.
Okay, Whitney and Brian, as you embark upon the journey of marriage, let your love always be stronger than your anger. Learn the wisdom of compromise, because it's better to bend than it is to break. And believe the best of one another rather than the worst. Confide in each other and ask each other for help when you need it. And remember that true friendship is the basis for any lasting relationship. Because marriage is made in love, it's kept in faith, and it's lived in hope, and eternally made new every day. Live, love, and most of all, laugh every day. This time, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you both married in love everlasting. And at this time, you may now kiss each other in front of all these witnesses. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you Mr. Brian and Mrs. Whitney Casso. At this time, please allow the bridal party to depart, and then we will all mosey back down to the pavilion for reception.
I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I ever, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's hanging around to you. But I wanna walk 500 miles and I wanna walk 500 more just to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down that shore door. When I'm working, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. And when the money comes in for the work I do, I pass almost every penny on to you. When I come home, oh, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back for you. And if I go home, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's going to you. But I wanna walk 500 miles and I wanna walk 500 more just to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down that shore door.